After 3 years of travelling, the Anne Frank exhibition finally arrived to Auckland in February.
My name is Chris Harris. I am the National Education Director for the Holocaust Centre of New Zealand. Okay, so the exhibition comes in two parts. We have our historical part, which is the story of Anne, her family and their life.
My name is Robert Narev, and my wife and I were both child Holocaust survivors. Now, the Nuremberg laws fell into 5 consecutive sections. The first one was identification, to identify who was Jewish. The second stage was confiscation, when Jewish people lost their businesses, lost their jobs, and basically lost their properties and their status as ordinary citizens. Stage 3 was concentration. Now, that's not the camps that we'll be talking about later, but where people were required in each town and each city to live in a particular area and were no longer allowed to mix with the general population. Stage 4 was deportation, when people were taken to concentration camps, and stage 5, the final stage, was extermination.
As a society, I think that that we can so easily, like things in our history, just put them to one side and just say, oh well, it doesn't matter anymore. It's not important. When we actually start looking and we start saying there's people around us that have actually suffered the worst of humanity, and we need to understand where they're actually coming from.
Hopefully this is a lesson which will be remembered in later life when similar things crop up. Unfortunately, the world doesn't seem to have learnt from the experiences of the Holocaust, and discrimination, racism in many countries is still being practiced.
The Burmese government is trying to keep what its soldiers are doing to an unwanted Muslim minority a secret.
The numbers that were staggering, at least 5,000 dead in the past 10 months.
The lethal cocktail called Holodomor, or genocide by starvation.
We're talking about tens of thousands of people, never mind those who have already been killed and their families in mourning.
When we see the increase in regards to prejudice, discrimination, apathy, xenophobia that's existing in the world, that not just comes from the individual in a small country like New Zealand, but can come from world leaders. And we need to be able to say to those people, no, that's not the way that you actually treat someone.
That's been going on for the last 2,000 or 3,000 years, on and off in various countries. Persecution for no reason other than that people are of a particular religion or of a particular race. There will always be people who, for one reason or another, don't like Jews or any other minority group, but the only way to combat it is for good people to do something. In other words, realize what is happening, realize the futility of persecuting people for no reason other than they're a little bit different from themselves. And if that lesson could be learnt by enough people, well then hopefully the world will be a better place for it. Maybe a fond hope, but in New Zealand so far it's been successful.